This week's dish of the week is Coley and Nduja fish cakes. Now, the weather is absolutely terrible here, so if you hear any wind in my microphone, I apologise, this is real. I don't have a studio, so this is me in the wind and rain doing dish of the week. Anyway, so this week's dish of the week is going to be Coley and Nduja fish cakes. Now, Coley is a member of the cod family, so it's a great alternative to cod, really sustainable fish, cheap and sustainable, I might add. So Coley works perfect in fish cakes. It's a nice flaky fish. You can also use cod, you can also use whiting. I've got here 2 lovely Coley fillets from Regal Fish Supplies. They've already come filleted. I am going to remove the skin. We don't need the skin. So in order to remove the skin, it's fairly simple. We take a nice sharp knife and we just come in this kind of the thinner end, the tail end, and we just want to come under there and just get enough so we can grip hold of the skin. And then once you've got hold of the skin, you can just keep the knife nice and flat along that skin and just slice, keeping the skin pulled nice and tight, and then just use your knife to just slice all the way along, keeping the skin nice and tight, and that's the skin removed. So they're skinned and ready for the grill. As I always say, don't put anything wet on the grill, so we're just going to give these a quick pat down with some kitchen roll, and now we're going to go and get them over on the cast iron griddle. So while the fish is gently cooking away, into this pan I'm going to heat some fat, not just any fat. This is beef fat that I've rendered down after trimming some brisket. That'll do us. So the fish fillets, we are now sat at 62 degrees, 63 degrees. We're going to take these off, let them cool, and we're going to flake these up. So the next thing we're going to do is just add a little bit of oil back to the griddle. And then we've got some new potatoes that we've quartered and that we're just going to put on the griddle into that oil. And we're going to smash these down with some salt and pepper just to get a bit of crust on them. Now you can use mash in a fish cake. I like to keep it rustic. Bit of salt. You can use a barbecue rub, use your favourite barbecue rub if you want it to go in a fish cake. But simple salt and pepper if you want. And the aim of putting them on the cast iron griddle is just to get a little bit of a crust on them, just for extra flavour. So we've got our fish and our potato mixture in here. We're just going to flake that fish and just mix it in with the potato. Again, we don't have to play around with it too much. This is going to be a nice rustic fish cake. We don't want to keep forming it and mushing it until we're just left with like a mushy, potatoey fish cake. We want this to be nice and rustic with some nice chunks of fish in there, some nice chunks of potato. So just going to mix that through, and then we're just going to allow that to cool. So our mixture is cooled. We're going to go ahead and form our fish cakes. So to our potato and our fish, we are going to go in with 1 egg. And now, I did say it was a Coley and Nduja fish cake. Now, Nduja is a kind of spreadable salami. If you don't have Nduja, then you can chop some chorizo really finely, cook that down and add this as well. But this stuff is absolutely banging, especially in a fish cake. So we're going to chuck a load of this in, probably a couple of tablespoons, I would have thought. You're going to want some salt and pepper, about ½ a teaspoon. And then lastly, we're going to go in with some mayonnaise, good old squeeze of that. And then we're just going to mix this until we get the kind of consistency that we're after, so we're able to just form into patties that are going to hold their shape. So that's it. That's our mixture ready to form into patties. So we're going to mould this, coat it in panko breadcrumbs, get it in that lovely beef fat. Now to form the patties, start with wet hands. It just makes it easier. We want nice big fat fish cakes. So let's just take a pile of this in our hands and just form it as best you can. Like I said, it is a wet mixture. Just form it as best you can into the shape that you want. I mean, that's about what we're looking for. And then all we're going to do with that is just sit that in the panko, get the breadcrumbs on there. That is our fish cake patty, rustic as you like. So the beef fat is nice and hot. You can check the temperature with your thermopen. We're looking for about 190. We're pretty much there. I'm going to get the fish cakes in. So there's the Nduja and Coley fish cakes that have been fried in beef fat. Just one last thing to stick on top of these. Poached eggs, of course. So we've got Coley and Nduja fish cakes that have been fried in beef fat, topped with poached eggs, crack of black pepper. Now you can serve these with whatever you like. I like to serve them with beef fat chips, maybe a bit of sriracha mayo. But there you go. There's my dish of the week. There's my fish cakes. Now for the money shot. See you next week.